Hi, and welcome to another exciting edition of Scarlet, Betch. I'm Jason.
And I'm Anthony.
So today we're going to talk about two things, probably more than that because we have a tendency to get off on tangents. But the two big things that are kind of going on in comic queer-verse right now, or the queer comic verse, however you like, is the impending marriage of Northstar and Kyle in Astonishing X-Men 51. And what was the second thing? The soon-to-be released semi-official, semi-not-official announcement that the new queer iconic character in the DC universe is going to be Earth 2 Alan Scott, the original Green Lantern. So, Anthony, where would you like to start with these two tidbits?
I don't know. I think it's funny that it's going to be Earth 2 number 2.
So did you read Earth 2 number 1?
Yes, I did.
What did you think?
I was like, your girlfriend sounds abusive. And what? To the Flash. I like that his power comes from the gods and that it's tied to the big cataclysmic event that got rid of their Trinity. Mm-hmm. That's cool to me. I like the Huntress and Power Girl origin stories. I just don't understand why she can't be Hunter Robin.
Yeah, exactly.
I was Robin, but now that I'm in a different place and my dad's dead, I'm gonna be someone completely different, not cling to my memories.
Yeah.
Okay. No, fair. I get that.
I mean, but I liked that because like for the longest time, because I can't remember how Huntress came around originally, but I was introduced to Huntress. I think originally she was like a alternate universe character that was brought to the main universe, right? Because like there's always been this weird like, is Helena Bernelli like, Bruce Wayne Catwoman's daughter? No, she's not. Just kidding, as she is. So I remember being introduced to her through that terrible WB show, Birds of Prey, which is horrible, so bad. But it's in that TV universe, Huntress was the daughter of Catwoman and Batman. So I'm like, okay. And I soon discovered that this was not the case in the normal DC universe. But now it is, kind of, at least. Ish. Yeah, she's part of the Bat family.
I love it as a way to introduce that because they made her like a mobster's daughter at some retcon point. But I think you're right. I think she started out as Batman and Catwoman's daughter, and maybe that was like a mysterious origin, but that's what I read, that she had like two origins, and like the original one that really couldn't continue because it was so, I don't want to say outlandish, but like contradicted too much with the other characters' stories, was that she was their daughter. So it's nice that they can jumpstart that and do it differently.
But I also so as good as that story the things are, and I'm glad that Power Girl is back into kind of the whole shebang. I really hate her costume. I think it's just terribly designed. I mean, like, I don't
know what it looks like. I'm looking it up right now.
She is. It's like instead of like, so it's kind of like the Superman, except it's a P for Power Girl. But like the P is just kind of a little off kilter, so it kind of looks like it's like one breast is like in the hole of the P, and so it just looks strange. And then she has these weird like gold shiny gauntlets, and there are so many. The thing that my problem with a lot of the new 52 the new 52 costumes, and some of them are really great, but so many of the new 52 costumes, especially of the Trinity, like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, all their costumes are just like needlessly complicated. I mean, like with like Wonder Woman's bustier having all these different lines, and then like Superman, despite having like all these superpowers and invulnerability, for some reason needs to wear like armor, and you're like, Superman, why do you need knee pads? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So yeah.
I mean, it's true, definitely. But I mean, that was kind of the aesthetic going forward with the book. I guess they probably had to reflect that in. I mean, the aesthetic from the JLA, because everyone in the JLA had all sorts of unnecessary lines.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I guess it was, I don't know, meant to reflect more of a real-world feel. Like, normally, human beings going out to combat of some variety do not wear pajamas. They wear armors. And so now we're gonna dress them in armors, and that'll be good. I just pulled up Power Girl's costume, and I like it. I think she looks like she's from the 70s, and it's very cute.
Well, I mean, my bit was that it just looked really dated. It's like, okay, this is like...
Oh, it looks so dated.
Yeah.
It definitely looks dated. I like that technically she's covered up. She's kind of got that whole Soraya thing going on where it's like, I'm in a burqa, but it's skin tight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Repression and objectification.
Yeah.
But no, I like it a lot better than her old one, which I understand. Like,
although one positive like costume thing from this whole New 52 is I'm actually a big fan of Alan Scott's new redesigned Green Lantern uniform, because for those of you who don't know, Alan Scott from, you know, was like the first Green Lantern, and his origins were like much more magical, and his costume was super wackadoo. He had like this like bright purple like shirt or cape, or something. They were, like the colors were just like, he had a green shirt and this like bright purple cape for.
Okay. So he had a red shirt.
That's right.
And it was just like a sweater. Like he just wore a sweater.
Yeah.
This was back in the day when people actually just wore clothes. Like they drew a symbol on the front and then they just wore their clothes.
Yeah.
So he just had a sweater on. Then he had this giant green cape that was purple, like on the inside.
Purple on the inside.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So it was like disgusting on both sides.
Yeah.
And then he had his like little Green Lantern symbol. It was yellow with a Green Lantern on it. And then he had like green pants. And his boots are probably completely other color.
It was just really, really unfortunate. I mean, and while a lot of the other kind of like JSA costumes like transferred well and like still, I mean, like look iconic, like Liberty Bell, like dig in, you know, like that's great. But his was just like unfortunate. So I'm glad for like the new streamlined look. I think it looks great. I was very, so my first reaction to the whole Alan Scott being gay, I was like, that's such a boring and safe and like uninteresting choice. Like,
it is the Kevin Keller of superheroes.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're gonna make a Green Lantern gay, it totally should have been Kyle Rayner. Just saying.
Only because I have 3 million crushes on Kyle Rayner. 3 million. Those have like I would cash in those points and that should turn gay.
Well, I mean, like he's like the graphic designer who is like is pursued obsessively by this like, right, like
yeah, definitely. I mean, he of all of them, he has the most stereotypical makings. Yeah. What does Alan Scott even do?
Well, that's so I'm very confused about what Alan Scott what he's gonna be doing. But I was also kind of miffed because, you know, Alan Scott's son, Obsidian, was just like, you know, was one of the few male gay superheroes in, you know, the DC universe, and he and his sister Jane have been absent, which is like big boo-hoo. And so, you know, if Alan Scott is gay, and we're assuming that he's not like a closeted, you know, homo with like a wife and kids, which would be interesting, but we're assuming that's not the case. And so, like, are Obsidian and Jade just like never gonna happen ever because he's totally homo? Or
I would say from the preview, if he had been closeted, then he would have had a male staff member on his airplane in that little preview and would have been abusing him.
Yeah.
Harassing him like a closeted politician. But it was a lady, so I assume he has respect for all peoples, including himself. So, I, on the other hand, heard Alan Scott was gonna be gay, and was like, thank you, because when the DCNU got announced, and they were like, we're gonna be aging everyone backwards, and then they said, and the JSA isn't in this new universe, I was like, that's 2 ways for no Obsidian. And I was so upset, and I mourned Obsidian, and they were like, we give you Bunker, and I was like, okay, I'll take Bunker, fine. And so now, with Alan Scott being gay, I'm like, oh, you were just saving it up. Oh, you were gonna give it back to me in dad form. I understand. Can
I have a one aside about Bunker? So I love how Bunker isn't super stereotypically gay, and it's like his queerness is not a big part of his character.
I love that he wears his stereotype on the outside, like my power is giant purple bricks, which I guess the giant bricks part doesn't necessarily make sense.
But the purple. Yeah. But so I think it's kind of funny that like he was like, guys, we're totally not gonna do a stereotypical gay teen character. He's gonna like, he's just gonna be part of the team. It's gonna be not stereotypical at all. And then like every other panel, he's saying like "ay caramba." Like, guys,
I love it.
Yeah. But back to Alan Scott. So I was reading this article, I think on geekout.org, about how, and so when I read this article, I was like, oh, maybe this could be interesting. So that if, I'm not really sure how old Alan Scott is going to be in this kind of universe. He looks kind of in like,
30s.
In his 30s, like kind of like approaching middle age. And so what would be exciting is that like if, you know, because most of the gay characters that we see are like young and, you know, like teenage or like 20s. So it will be interesting to see what is queer life as like, you know, someone in their 40s who's like over the hill and like single and like trying to navigate like the the queer or gay lifestyle or whatnot.
One of the second thoughts that I had about Alan Scott being gay that made me really excited about it was he has that on again off again relationship with Rose and Thorn. So Rose is the regular nice girl, and Thorn is the evil plant-based terrorist. I don't know. She was a Flash villain, and then got married to Green Lantern and or I don't know if they even got married. She just is the father of his twins. So she's Obsidian's mother. So I thought, well, wouldn't it be great if we had a Zavin-like character or like a Ben Glory situation from Buffy the Vampire Slayer where we have a trans character where, again, the transition is part of the superpower. And then they could have, and that could lead to Jade and Obsidian. I thought that would be an awesome origin story. But holding on to that hope that Jade and Obsidian are tiny baby superheroes. tiny babies. What if he's already married and has kids?
I mean, that would be interesting. I am a fan of the JSA, and so I like the kind of iconic retro heroes. That's not a problem for me at all. So like, I would not have a problem with like Mad Men superheroes. Like I think that's totally cool.
Totally.
So I'd be all up for that.
Yeah. It'd be interesting. I was all in family mode, and when you brought up like an older gay person, their experience and stuff like that I now want to read all those stories. I want to read what life is like for him. Is he lonely? What's he doing? Is he on the grinder?
What I thought was really great was that so like when this whole Alan Scott business came out, somebody went around and dug up this like old scene where Kyle Rayner takes Alan Scott to a gay bar.
Of course, Kyle Rayner goes to gay bars. Of course he does.
So he takes Alan Scott to this gay bar, and like they're like hanging out in this gay bar, and like, okay, sure, why not?
And then Jade is there.
And Jade is there. Of course, Jade is there.
Which really makes me hopeful that maybe she'll be lesbian now. This would be the whole magic, as we know from Wiccan, from I'm sure there's another character, Willow. Magic means gay.
Madame Xanadu, yeah.
Madame Xanadu. There we go. Wait, is she gay?
Well, she's bi. She had a lesbian affair in the Spanish Inquisition.
Sounds. Yeah. I mean, I'd do that.
Yeah. So moving on, going to the other side of the comic book aisle in the Marvel universe. Is the impending marriage of Kyle and Northstar. So in the last issue of Astonishing X-Men, we saw the engagement. So Northstar, spoilers. Northstar proposes to,
My favorite thing is when people say, like, start telling you something and they go, oh wait, yeah, spoilers. We said that at the end, right?
Yeah. Northstar proposes to his boyfriend, and it doesn't go so well, for a variety of reasons, which I was really happy about. I liked the kind of like personal conflict, and it's just great to see like Northstar and Kyle's relationship as like a real relationship that's like complicated and layered, which I really liked.
I read it. I was like, no, and it caused me like physical pain. And I was like, this is horrible. And then I was like, oh, it makes so much sense too. Why is this story so good?
I thought, I'm just really surprised that how much center stage Northstar is in the story, because he's been back for a while, for a few years, you know, appearing in books, but he's always kind of been like very much a side character, and it seems to me that at least in this Astonishing X-Men series with Marjorie, he's really taking center stage, which I think is great. And I think that Marjorie was the perfect person to like take on this story. But my one gripe is the art. It's weird. It's like you can tell the artist is really talented, but like it's either is like being rushed or something, because like the poses of all the figures just seem like forced and like uncomfortable.
And I have to say, this last issue was particularly bad. I think the ones before that I didn't notice
it wasn't
as much, and it was just this issue was just like everything was out of whack. And
what I noticed more is that the backgrounds are really weird. It's like almost as if they've been, almost as if they like reference shots were taken and then they were like photoshopped to make it look like they were drawn, because like it just seems like overly rendered. So like.
One of the things, so you were talking about things being rushed, and then things being rendered, and one of the things that I remember reading was when Scott Pilgrim, when the last few volumes were coming out and they had like publishing deadlines because people were chomping at the bit for the next volume, the background work was outsourced. So like just a lot of the work was done by other people, and the main stuff was of course still done by Brian Lee O'Malley. But yeah, so if that's the case, then I could definitely see that being exactly what it was.
But aside, and then just there's just a few interesting choices in terms of like the character design. Like, it is interesting that cause it's like, so Northstar has always had kind of like this like straight man crush on Bobby Drake. Yeah. And it's interesting that Bobby Drake in this comic is like super like ugly and looks controlled, and like, you know, like he has all these like spikes and shit. I mean, he looks, you know, he's not usually his like pristine ice sculpture self, which I thought.
But I mean, isn't that? I feel like that's the direction they're taking him. I don't know what. I don't pay attention to Iceman. I don't care. I'm sorry. Data boy. Yeah. But I know that the trajectory of his character for a long time was that he would lose ability of, and I don't know if this was established in Age of Apocalypse or when, but I know that all the alternate universe versions of him have lost control of his abilities, and they get really spiky and like do things like, if anything I touch turns, like Riza dies, and they get all angsty about that, or they just become evil. There's so many evil Bobbies, so I assume they're kind of pointing him in that direction with the pointiness, and anytime there's an increase in his abilities, there also becomes a distance from his humanity. So I assume that's also what's going down. So, and he's being a jerk, cold-hearted jerk.
I love the scene where where I think it was Iceman. He's like, "Why are you taking relationship advice from Gambit?" That was such a good point. I'm like, yeah, why are you taking relationship advice from Gambit?
So, I've said this before, and I'll say it a million times over, but I think Marjorie Liu, A, likes Gambit, and B, writes him well. And I love that she poked fun at Gambit in that moment. Just like, I was like, yeah, that's right. You keep working with him. If you're going to find faults with your favorite characters, write them always.
So this is like kind of like off script, sorry. But I just also realized that I think like a Batwoman came out before like 2 weeks ago. And I'm not sure if you read it, but I so spoilers.
Yeah, you said it before.
The magical kind of like sister or something that woman teams up with against this like cabal of sorcerers or whatever. At the very end, it's like revealed that like she has a thing for Batwoman. And you're like, so I just wanted to know if you were which team if you were on. Were you on like I can't remember. I always want to call her Diane Sawyer, but that's not her name.
That's her name. I'm on team Renee Montoya.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. And so this whole interlude with Rebound Girl is with Diane Sawyer. It's just a passing fling, Jason. Yeah. That's going away. So if this young lady wants to step in and take Batwoman's attention off of the competition, great. Plus, she's a much more interesting character. Please be Batwoman's Catwoman.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, yeah, that does kind of make a really nice parallel.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, that's why Huntress has Catman, right?
I really don't understand that.
Really?
As a couple, I don't get it.
I assume that it's because Huntress is a red-blooded woman and Catman is Catman.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Yeah. Whew! Good job, Gail Simone.
I just thought that the entire thing was just like fan service. It was just like, okay, guys.
Probably. I have to admit, I mostly follow Secret Six stuff from the sidelines, not so much from the heart of the story. So I just know that they like each other, and I'm like, I'd write fanfiction about that. Definitely. Yeah, it works for me. I'll ship that.
Okay, well, unless you have anything else to talk about, I think this wraps up this issue.
I've just been liking all the gay music that's been coming out. It's not really the comic books, guys. I'm sorry. I like other things as well. And the other day I caught myself listening to Adam Lambert, The Gossip, and the Scissor Sisters in a row.
All those three albums are all things that I've been wanting to listen to and I haven't gotten a chance to listen to at all.
They're good.
Yeah? Even the Lambert stuff?
The Lambert stuff especially.
Really?
So like, I may have listened to his first album out of obligation. This one is awesome.
Yeah?
I love it. I like that the Scissor Sisters album is like, it to me it hits all the same beats that the first album did. Now I glanced at the Rolling Stone critique and they interpreted that as kind of phoning it in. But to me, with the horrible flop that I thought Tada was, and the kind of creative renaissance that Nightwork was, I feel like it's a return to form. And so it might not necessarily feel as inspired or thematically united as Nightwork, but it has everything that I love about the Scissor Sisters all in one album, and I'm going to be burning it and listening to it in my car every day forever.
Oh, have you listened to the new Rufus album that came out like a few weeks ago?
Nope. I stopped listening to Rufus when I graduated from college.
Well, it's actually pretty good.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I think he's amazing.
Yeah.
As an artist.
Yeah. Well, so I actually kind of took a break from Rufus for a while, and I didn't realize that he had come out with like 3 albums in the
he's tirelessly working. It's just every time I see a new album from him, I'm like, good job. What's next? So, and I mean the songs that I hear from him on NPR, because they are in hearts with him, they're awesome. But like I said, I just haven't picked anything up since Want 1 and 2.
Oh, so, and I guess the one last thing before we go is kind of semi-geek related. What do you think about Jim Parsons coming out? Sheldon from the Big Bang Theory.
He come out?
Yeah, he came out.
Oh, sweet. I don't think I sent you this picture, but it's of Jim Parsons on Grindr.
Oh my god, really?
It's not a Grindr photo, it's him like turning quickly, and some paparazzi has got like this picture of him, and on his phone is the Grindr app, like open, like in a conversation. And you're like, there's only one thing that orange, Mr. Parsons. It is not Blender. No, it's not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. I texted my friends who watch Big Bang Theory immediately. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was like, whee! Very exciting.
Mm-hmm. So I guess on that note, thanks for tuning in to this edition of Scarlet, Betch, and make sure to come back.
And also, before we go, I'm just going to add something in right at the end. Crazy times. Listen to the Gossip album, because they're amazing, and it's pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, heard it here. And the one time I watched that Andy Bravo thing was when Adam Lambert and Beth Ditto were on it at the same time, and the rumors are true. It is amazing. So go check it out. Okay, now I'm done.
Bye.
Bye.